let me tell you what that could do, because so that you know what these billions I'm talking about mean. For example, the budget for lands, housing, urban development for a whole year is 267 billion. Urban development, lands, housing.
For the entire country.
For the entire country, 267. Donation of Mr. Museveni, 200 billion. Ministry of Agriculture in the last year got 836 billion. But State House classified, I have told you, is 685 billion for security work in the State House. What does this mean? And the country's focus is being diverted, to look for council, put up posters. What does this mean? That we have spent up to now in the defense alone, supplementary classified $3 billion. We are going into war. We are going into war.
With?
You will find out. So the country, Mr. Museveni is on a totally different trajectory. Mr. Museveni has been saying the reason he's not going home is he wants to unite East Africa. Yes, he's going to unite it by force.
I think you're sounding more drunk.
It's not me. It's the person accumulating $3 billion in the State House, which nobody has any knowledge is doing about. It's somebody asking for money to make roads in Congo. Why would Ugandans be paying for money to make roads in Congo? We owe Congo, by the way, $23 billion for having stolen the wealth of Congo. 23 billion now. It was 10 billion with interest, 23 billion. Why are we making roads in Congo? We have budgeted money to make roads in Congo. Why? Do you know that today, $1.3 billion?
I think that turns our attention for the election.
No, it's the prior elections there. What I'm telling you is that we are focusing on the wrong things. If we don't focus on liberation, you see, we are engaged. But when they are doing different things, this is the reality of the matter. This is why I get mad at Ugandans. You see, now the biggest export, understand, of Uganda is gold. 33% of our exports is gold. We earned 1.3 billion from gold. Is it from our mines? Yes, we must make roads in Congo. Mr. Museveni is no longer paying attention to all this nonsense he has created for us. He wants to take over the whole region. This is why I say,
you must be speculating on this.
I would want to believe that I am speculating, but I'm giving you the reason why I'm speculating and inviting the Ugandans to understand that it is extremely urgent that we liberate this country. Extremely urgent. And if we want to liberate this country, we must focus ourselves differently. We must not fight for offices in places where there is no power. We are spending a lot of time seeking offices before seeking power. We must seek power to control all of this.
Colonel, we are getting out of here in the interest of time, but is this election worth anyone's focus?
Yes. An election is an important period when the country focuses on its governance. I'm focusing the country on our governance.
That's your big picture?
Yes. And that we should use this election to rally Ugandans for liberation, to get power back to themselves. That's the first thing.
Okay.
2, we should rally Ugandans to organize for action. To organize for action that liberates us. And when we talk about Plan B, if we are all united that we are going to fight for our power, if we are all united that we have organized for that fight, if tomorrow we say, if the order that comes out of our command is that from tomorrow we are stopping all business until Museveni leaves power and the soldiers salute the citizens, it will happen. If we say close, the country close, everybody will close. People, we don't need guns. People can stop food from coming to Kampala by just one order. The whole country, let no food come back to Kampala from tomorrow. And the whole country can act.
Well,
and within a week, there will be a very different situation in Uganda.
I can't wait to touch base with you again so we discuss what Plan B entails. But for now, I must really thank you, Colonel Besigye, for sharing a moment with us to tell us what the country looks like from your perspective.